Imagine this. You wake up in a world where every billboard, every advertisement, every smiling influencer whispers the same promise. Happiness is just one purchase, one achievement, one life hack away. You follow the script: college, career, marriage, the curated Instagram life, checking boxes like a dutiful pilgrim on the well-worn path to contentment. And then, one ordinary Tuesday, it hits you. You have everything you were told would make you happy. And yet, the promotion didn't fill the hollow nights. The luxury car's leather seats still smell like a loan. The engagement ring glints under restaurant lights, but your laughter across the table is a performance. You scroll through your own highlight reel, wondering why it feels like watching a stranger. Here's the unsettling truth no one admits. You've been sold a lie. Not a harmless white lie, but a fundamental betrayal, a collective hallucination so pervasive we mistake it for reality. The lie that happiness is a destination, a product, a formula, that it's something to find rather than something to unlearn. The great contradiction. Society operates on a brutal paradox. We're taught that happiness comes from external validation, likes, titles, trophies. Yet study after study reveals the opposite. Nobel laureates confess to emptiness. Celebrities overdose in golden mansions. The most successful among us are often the most medicated. Even our language betrays us. We say, "I'll be happy when, if only I had, once I achieve." As if joy were a vending machine where you insert enough effort and out pops fulfillment. But what if the machine is broken? What if it was never wired to dispense what you crave? The moment of disillusionment. Picture a man kneeling in a cathedral of consumerism. The stained glass windows are replaced with high-definition screens flashing, "Buy this, be loved. Achieve that, be enough." He reaches for a credit card, then freezes. A crack splits the altar down the middle, revealing darkness beneath. The candles flicker, the screens glitch, and in that silence, a terrible whisper. What if you've been praying to the wrong God? This is the crisis point. The moment you realize the promises were never meant to be kept. They were meant to keep you running. The fork in the road. Most people will double down on the lie. Maybe the next promotion, the next partner, the next viral post. Numb the doubt with Netflix, pills, or spiritual bypassing. Good vibes only. But a rare few will dare to ask the forbidden question. What if happiness isn't something I've lost, but something I've never actually tasted? That question is the first thread. Pull it, and the entire tapestry unravels. The hidden problem and its psychological, philosophical roots. The lie that happiness is something to acquire rather than something to awaken to did not emerge by accident. It is the inevitable product of three colliding forces. 1. The neurological trap. Your brain is not wired for happiness. It is wired for survival. Every dopamine hit from a like, a promotion, or a new purchase reinforces the illusion that you are one step closer to some finish line of fulfillment. But dopamine is not joy, it is anticipation, a chemical mirage that evaporates the moment the next want appears. Modern life has hacked this system. Social media platforms are slot machines. Advertisements are dopamine triggers disguised as enlightenment. Even self-help gurus sell 10 steps to happiness as if it were a software update for your soul. The result? A civilization chasing the shadow of happiness while stepping over its substance. 2. The existential distraction. Philosophers have long understood that true contentment requires staring into the void, and most would rather burn down the world than do so. Sartre called this bad faith, the lies we tell ourselves to avoid the terrifying freedom of defining our own meaning. Nietzsche warned of herd morality, swapping our inner compass for the applause of the crowd. Frankl survived Auschwitz to prove that even in hell, happiness is not the absence of suffering, but the presence of purpose. Yet society offers endless distractions from this truth. You are encouraged to confuse busyness with meaning, mistake certainty for truth, worship convenience as progress. All while the real question festers: if all this striving ended tomorrow, who would I be? 3. The cultural hypnosis. From childhood, you are handed a script. Go to school, get a job, find the one, retire and die. Deviate from this script, and the world responds with panic. You'll regret it. What will people think? You're wasting your potential. This is not concern, it is control. A system that thrives on your insecurity cannot afford your liberation. The unseen prison. The most dangerous lies are those we mistake for laws of nature. You do not question them. You question yourself when they fail you. When the promotion leaves you empty, you wonder, am I ungrateful? When the perfect partner doesn't fix you, you conclude, I'm broken. When the vacation high fades in 48 hours, you blame, I didn't do it right. But the truth is far simpler. You were never meant to find happiness in a world that profits from your hunger. The unseen consequences. The lie doesn't just distort your desires, it rewires your biology, poisons your relationships, and suffocates your soul. You are living in the fallout of a mass psychological experiment no one consented to. 1. The happiness arms race. Social media has turned joy into a competitive sport. You scroll through a highlight reel of weddings, promotions, and sun-drenched vacations, unaware that comparison is a neurological hijack. Your brain processes curated images as reality, triggering cortisol spikes when your life doesn't measure up. The algorithm is your dealer. It feeds you microdoses of envy disguised as inspiration. Look what they have. Don't you want this? Result? A generation chasing phantom standards, measuring their worth against illusions. The more you win, the emptier you feel, because the race was rigged from the start. 2. The boredom crisis. Ancient humans faced predators and famine. Modern humans face a far deadlier threat, the unbearable stillness of an unstimulated mind. A 2023 study found the average person would rather endure electric shocks than sit alone with their thoughts for 15 minutes. We've pathologized normal human states. Melancholy becomes depression. Existential questioning becomes anxiety. Why? Because a culture built on consumption cannot afford for you to discover that peace was always available for free. 3. The love paradox. Relationships have become transactional happiness projects. Dating profiles promise good vibes only, as if love were a spa day, not a mirror forcing you to confront your wounds. Partners demand complete happiness from each other, a burden no human can bear. The truth, love amplifies your inner state. It doesn't create it. No amount of adoration can fill a cup that's cracked at the bottom. 4. The creativity genocide. Every viral trend, every AI-generated song, every franchise reboot is proof. We've traded art for content. Children's drawings now come with engagement metrics. Likes from parents equals worth. Musicians compose for algorithms, not human hearts. The casualty? The sacred madness of creating, because you must, not because it might go viral. The body keeps score. Your cells don't care about societal lies. Chronic dissatisfaction triggers inflammation, linked to autoimmune diseases. The happiness hustle floods your system with stress hormones, aging you prematurely. You are quite literally killing yourself to outrun a ghost. The rebellion, how to break free. This is where the path splits. You can continue the chase, or you can become the kind of person happiness follows. 1. The anti-goal. Forget pursuing happiness. Your new mantra: remove what's blocking it. Schopenhauer's insight: suffering comes from wanting, not lacking. The less you need, the more you already have. Modern application: conduct a desire autopsy. When you crave validation, ask, is this hunger mine or was it implanted? Action: for 1 week, track every should that enters your mind. I should be married by now. I should want that promotion. Burn the list. 2. The Boredom Protocol. Reclaim your mind's fertile void. Practice this daily. Day 1. Sit alone for 10 minutes with no stimuli. Notice the panic, then the clarity beneath it. By day 30, you'll discover what the mystic Simone Weil knew. Attention is the rarest and purest form of generosity, especially toward yourself. Radical truth: your most profound ideas will emerge not in productivity, but in stillness. 3. The shadow work advantage. Carl Jung's forbidden key: your suppressed darkness holds your trapped light. The jealousy you deny? It points to undeveloped potential. The rage you numb? It's energy, waiting to be weaponized for creation. Exercise: when envy strikes, e.g., a friend's success, ask yourself, what does this reveal about my unlived life? Then act, don't analyze. 4. The Outsider Alliance. History's freest minds operated in conscious exile. Emily Dickinson wrote 1,800 poems in a locked room. Van Gogh painted Starry Night from an asylum. Your move: cultivate a secret project that exists only for you. No posts, no metrics. Let it be ugly, strange, and alive. 5. The Pain Paradox. Nietzsche's hammer strikes again. You must have chaos within you to give birth to a dancing star. Stop asking, how do I feel better? Start asking, what is this pain teaching me? Biological hack: intense exercise, cold exposure resets your dopamine receptors. Happiness becomes a baseline, not a prize. The invitation. This is not self-improvement. This is soul reclamation. Every ad, every algorithm, every well-meaning critic will try to drag you back. Let them. You'll be too busy dancing in your private storm to notice. The ultimate truth. Here is the secret that cracks the universe open. Happiness was never the point. We've been sold the spiritual equivalent of a treadmill, chasing an illusion designed to keep us chasing. The ancient Greeks had 2 words for happy: hedonia, pleasure, absence of discomfort; eudaimonia, aliveness, meaning in struggle. You've been force-fed hedonia while starving for eudaimonia. This is why the vacation ends, but the mountain climb stays with you forever. The promotion fades, but the manuscript written at 3 a.m. becomes part of your bones. The Grand Deception. Civilization operates on a brutal equation. Unhappiness equals problem to solve. But the mystics knew better. The Buddha's first noble truth: life is suffering. Kierkegaard. Anxiety is the dizziness of freedom. Jung. There is no coming to consciousness without pain. Your depression isn't a malfunction, it's a messenger. Your anxiety isn't a glitch, it's potential energy. The alchemical shift. True liberation comes when you realize happiness isn't a place to arrive at. It's the byproduct of living truth. The fisherman laughing with his nets experiences what the stressed CEO cannot buy. The opposite of happiness isn't sadness, it's numbness. Grief contains love. Anger contains justice. Even despair contains the blueprint for rebirth. The most unhappy people are often the most awake. Dostoevsky's epileptic visions. Van Gogh's swirling madness, Tesla's obsessive solitude. The final practice. When the old lie whispers, "If only you had X, you'd finally be happy," respond with this question: what if I already am what I've been seeking? Then watch as goals become games rather than gods. People's opinions become weather patterns rather than verdicts. Your so-called flaws become the exact contours needed for your destiny. The last door. Imagine standing at the edge of everything you've ever feared. Behind you, the well-trodden path of if only. Before you, the uncharted territory of what is. You feel it now, not happiness, but something older, truer. The electric thrill of being exactly who you are. The door was never locked. You just forgot it opened inward. Welcome home.